Imagine this, you're sitting in a huge company auditorium, the kind where the spotlight only shines on the powerful, the wealthy, and the successful. Everyone is laughing, the air filled with smug chuckles as someone points toward the quiet janitor sweeping in the corner. "Hey, why don't you play the piano for us?" someone jeers, more of a joke than a suggestion. A man in a worn-out uniform, calloused hands gripping the broom handle, looks up. His name is Daniel. A single dad, a janitor barely holding his world together. And what happens when he sits at that piano, a piano he was never supposed to touch, will leave every soul in the room breathless. Even the CEO himself will wipe away tears he never thought he'd shed. Daniel hadn't always been a janitor. Once, many years ago, he had dreams. He had music in his blood, a gift that lit up every room he ever entered. But life has a way of shoving dreams aside when responsibilities call. His wife passed away unexpectedly when their daughter, Lily, was just 4 years old. Suddenly, the grand stages, the endless hours of practice, the pursuit of a future filled with melodies, all of it was replaced with night shifts, scrubbing floors, and doing whatever it took to keep food on the table. He never complained, but behind his tired smile was a man who carried the weight of two worlds, being both mother and father to his little girl, and sacrificing everything so she wouldn't feel the emptiness he felt every day. One Friday afternoon, the company he worked for was hosting its annual Employee Appreciation Gala. Janitors, secretaries, managers, and executives all gathered under the same roof, but of course, not on equal ground. Daniel stood near the back of the hall, broom in hand, trying to stay invisible. The room sparkled with laughter and clinking glasses. On stage sat a grand piano, polished and perfect, untouched for most of the night. That's when a group of young employees, tipsy from the free wine, noticed him. "Hey, janitor," one of them called out, smirking. "Why don't you give us a song? Can you even play?" Their voices dripped with mockery. A few others chuckled, and even some of the managers smirked. Daniel froze, his heart pounding in his chest. The last time his fingers touched piano keys had been years ago, late at night, when Lily was asleep, just to remind himself he still remembered. He wanted to say no, to laugh it off, but then he caught sight of Lily. She was sitting off to the side, having come with him because he couldn't afford a babysitter. Her wide eyes looked at him with both worry and hope. In that instant, Daniel knew he couldn't walk away. Not this time. Slowly, he approached the stage. The room quieted a little, more out of curiosity than respect. He sat down on the piano bench, his old uniform stiff and faded against the glossy black of the instrument. For a moment, silence hung heavy in the air. His hands hovered above the keys, trembling. Then he closed his eyes. He pictured his late wife's smile, remembered the lullabies he once played to calm Lily when she cried at night, and he let his fingers fall. What came out was not the fumbling of a janitor forced into a spotlight. It was music so raw, so painfully beautiful, it felt as if every note carried the story of his life. The melody began soft, fragile, almost like a whisper. But then it grew, swelling into waves of emotion, crashing with sorrow, lifting with hope. His music spoke of loss, of sacrifice, of nights spent crying in silence, and mornings where he rose to fight again. It spoke of a father's love, unyielding, eternal, and pure. The laughter in the room died away. People leaned forward in their seats, their expression shifting from mockery to awe. Lily's small face glowed with pride as tears streamed down her cheeks. She had never seen her father like this, transformed by the power of music, not as a janitor but as the man he truly was, a musician, an artist, a hero in her eyes. And then something unexpected happened. The CEO, a man known for his stone-cold demeanor and ruthless decisions, stood up. His eyes glistened. A single tear rolled down his cheek, quickly followed by another. The entire hall was silent except for the sound of Daniel's music filling every corner of the room, breaking through walls people didn't even know they had built around their hearts. When the final note lingered and faded into silence, Daniel sat still, his hands resting gently on the keys. For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then, thunderous applause erupted, echoing off the walls, drowning out the quiet sobs in the audience. People stood to their feet, clapping, cheering, some wiping away tears they didn't expect to shed. Lily ran onto the stage, throwing her arms around her father, her voice trembling with pride. "That's my dad." The CEO stepped forward, his voice thick with emotion. "Mr. Daniel," he said, "we asked you to play as a joke. But what you gave us tonight was a gift. You reminded us of something we often forget in this place, that behind every uniform, behind every job title, there is a human being with a story, with talent, with worth. He paused, then added, from this day forward, you will not be sweeping floors. I want you leading our new company initiative for music outreach. And we will sponsor your daughter's education, fully. Daniel's knees almost buckled as the crowd roared with approval. He had walked onto that stage as a joke, but he walked off as a man who had finally been seen for who he truly was. And most importantly, Lily saw the world celebrate her father, not for what he sacrificed, but for the greatness that still lived within him. So if you take anything from this story, let it be this: never underestimate the quiet ones, the people in the background. Everyone carries a story, everyone holds a hidden gift. And sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one brave step into the light to change everything.